The Claflin Lady Panthers sweep CIAA Softball Player of the Week honors after great doubleheader sweeps. When the honors came out for the CIAA, the Lady Panthers were as dominant off the field as they were on the diamond. Senior Claflin pitcher Jalen Jackson was named the CIAA Pitcher of the Week for the third time this season. This week, she brought home the honor after allowing just one run on 4 total hits this week with 16 strikeouts. Hey, the Lady Panthers won too. Adding to the Lady Panthers' defensive efforts was another senior, Alexis Beavers, who was named the CIAA Defensive Player of the Week. She finished the week with 1,000 fielding percentage that included her totaling 24 putouts and 24 chances. With the defense well in hand, the Lady Panthers turned to senior outfielder Brene Howard, who was named the CIAA Offensive Player of the Week. That's right, Pitcher of the Week, Defensive Player of the Week, and the Offensive Player of the Week. She finished the week with 8 runs scored on 5 hits on 16 at-bats with 2 RBIs. The upperclassmen were the only ones bringing home the bacon, as Claflin freshman catcher Zakaria Fenwick was named the CIAA Rookie of the Week. She recorded 4 runs scored with 4 RBIs on 4 for 12 hitting for 333 batting average. Among her hits were both a double and a triple. Stay tuned for the Claflin Lady Panthers and their dominant run. The Claflin University men and women's track and field teams competed in the 2023 Georgia Tech Invitational. There weren't many Panthers and Lady Panthers in competition, but there still was some great individual showings. It was on a track where the Panthers made the most noise. Freshman Javion Riley stood out when he ran the NC Division II professional qualifying time of 52.98 to place 5th in the event. That result places him with the 3rd best time in the CIAA. He returned later in the day to join the Panthers 4x400-meter relay team that also placed 5th in the meet. The team's 3:14.34 is currently the 2nd best time in the CIAA. Reginald Gore, Jacaria Sanders also competed well in the 1,500-meter run. Their times are now the 2nd and 3rd best in the CIAA. The Lady Panthers also had a strong day with some steady improvements. Sensational sophomore Zoe Adams placed 25th in the women's 400-meter dash. Freshman Fajana Burnside also 25th in the women's 100-meter hurdles. Junior Jonica Fuller added 43rd place finish in the women's 400-meter yard dash. And that's up-to-date news on Claflin, men and women's track and field. Hello, everybody. This is Mickey Clayton, the coach, as INSiiGHTS presents the Claflin Athletic Show, sponsored by Tony T. Chrysler Dodge Ram Jeep of Orangeburg, South Carolina. We always say, support those programs, those entities that support you. With us today, we have a very special guest. I know I say it all the time, but it's just amazing how many of these people that we interview from Claflin really are special. And we have a young lady that's the head coach of the strength and conditioning program at Claflin University. Welcome to the show, Miss Ashley Fields.
How you doing?
I'm great. How are you doing today, Ashley?
I'm good. I can't complain.
Some people are the complaining type, and others aren't. I got the feeling you're probably in that category that doesn't complain much anyway.
At all. At all.
At all, huh?
At all.
Well, thank you for taking the time and making the time to be able to talk to us today. But I'm gonna just jump right into it. How do we get a young lady to be the head strength and conditioning coach? There can't be many of you in America in a program that supervises the men and the women in their athletic program. Tell us a little bit about that. That in itself is unique.
Very, and I'm honored to just be in this position. I would say what got me here was just hard work. I played at Claflin. I've been at Claflin I played 3 years at Claflin, and then I've been at Claflin for going on 6 years now. Coached on the women's side, coached on the men's side, and I always had a love for strength and conditioning. I've been lifting weights. I've been around weights and strength training and things like that since really my 8th grade year. When I played varsity in high school. So, I have a lot of history in it, a lot of background information in it, and I really love what I do. So, pretty much sums it up with it.
Okay, well, what sports did you play?
I played basketball. Yes, women's basketball.
Okay, having been a former women's basketball coach myself, I think a lot of times young ladies underestimate the value of the strength and conditioning part of it. It's just not a matter of going out and playing. Share some of that with us.
Oh, absolutely. You have to be able to transition your strength and your power. Basketball is a very demanding sport, from conditioning, from just being able to read angles, being able to cut, having that agility, having that flexibility. So, that's my main focus when I start to deal with athletes, just making sure they're flexible, making sure they have the ability, and then, we could build on the strength, the power, things like that, and sport specific movements and things like that.
How individualized are the workouts that you have, or does the basketball team have one set of workouts that you do and the softball team another, or do you do them by individuals?
So if I have an individual, say I have an individual that's like lacks flexibility in their lower body or anywhere in their body, I would change up their workouts. But as far as like basketball and volleyball, their workouts are very, very similar, simply because the sport demand is very similar. Softball, baseball, of course, go hand in hand. So that's how I break it down. I don't have my basketball players don't do my softball workouts at all.
Mm-hmm. Well, give us a little bit more detail about the difference between your basketball workouts and your softball workouts.
So softball, baseball is more of a power demand sport. They transition with a lot of just power exercises. They do a lot of heavy lifting, things like that. Now in basketball, right now we're in a transition phase where we're working on strength and power. But when they come back in the fall, they would do more sport specific exercises as far as like agility work, Olympic lifts, power clean, hang cleans, things like that, where they can really transition from just having strength and power to being able to have it on the court. Not taking away their athletic ability, make sure we're building on that and transitioning very well. So it shows up on the court.
Okay, let's take basketball since it's the same, men and women's. As you go through your workouts with them, do your workouts? How different are your workouts in season, after season, summer? How different are they, or are they different?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So in season, this year was a little different for us. In season I got in a little bit late, and it was playing the eighth ball, just really seeing where everybody was. We have a lot of kids that probably needed more flexibility things, but we were already rolling. So postseason is where I really just cater to what they need. So if say I have the women's basketball team predominantly, say about 6 players on the women's basketball team need flexibility or mobility work, then they come with me and we do that. But they still have a base workout where we're building on strength again. So postseason is just basically getting back in the weight room if we did stop lifting, and we would do like isolation things, isolation workouts, just basic fundamental workouts. And then this summer it grows from that. So they go from that to strength-based training, and they do a lot of conditioning on their own. So I really break it down where everything is a progression. So they start off with a half a mile because even though we're athletes, nobody basketball wise, and I speak for myself, nobody just likes to run for fun. So I do it where they come back and they fall and they test for 2 miles. But I do it where they can be encouraged to get to that 2 miles. Because if I just be like, okay, every workout you got to do 2 miles, it's going to be a struggle. So everything is a progression. We start off with a half a mile, then we grow onto that, and then they will test back. I had volleyball and women's basketball players max out right before they left. So it just gives them an idea of where they are. And then when they come back, they're going to do a couple different tests from conditioning to strength training. And I must say, like, just working with those two teams, that they enjoy it. They enjoy to see the progression they're getting. They enjoy maxing out. Max out days are like really fun. Because everybody's just engaged and everybody wants to see their teammate grow. And I make it an environment where it's always competition. Sometimes I got to get on them because, life happens. We all have stuff going on, but sometimes the workout get demanding and they want to stay complacent and not build. So we add weight each week. And, sometimes they don't want to do that, but everything is very progression based, growing. We love to see our growth.
Well, that's an excellent response. I mean, you answered questions that people may have had. I know one time with basketball players, I was one too, didn't want to lift during the season, didn't really want to lift at all. But
right.
As time went on, you saw so many of your competitors were lifting and you figured you had to get stronger. And then we didn't want to lift during the season because we thought it threw off our shot, up until we noticed that Michael Jordan lifts, even game day he lifts.
Absolutely. And that's what I always preach and teach. You have to stay that in season is more of flexibility and maintaining lifts. I don't lift to get crazy gains in season. It's just a maintain thing. I want you to maintain where we are, and we're going to work on that mobility, agility, and flexibility. So.
Okay, having coached the women's basketball team at Florida A&M and coached the men's basketball team at Florida A&M, what are some of the differences that you detect in terms of even their attitude in approaching strength and conditioning?
I feel like I'm so much younger than a lot of coaches around Claflin. That I could relate to.
That's because you are younger than most coaches anywhere.
Yeah, so I relate. I do have days where, they come in and they're in a funk, but it's more of me talking and just motivating and making sure they're okay mentally. Every time a couple volleyball players come in, I just got to make sure they ate. Like, did you eat today? What did you eat today? Making them comfortable and making them understand the importance of strength training. And it's rough when you first start off because you don't see the gains. You don't see your body still feels the same. Honestly, your body probably feels worse because you're working out again. So, you get tight, you draw up, and you really don't see the results. So once they start seeing the results, it's like, it's easy selling. We go in there, we talk, we laugh. It's an environment. And I always remind them, like, we could do all these things, but y'all got to work too. Like, don't come in here and think you're going to cut corners because it's a relaxed environment, So I'm not too demanding. I just want you to work hard. And if you don't work hard, it's like, I will take my time with you. I'll just explain to you, like, what's going on, like, why. And I got a couple women's basketball players. I just ask them questions, and I be like, just get back to me next week once you sit and think about this, So it's not all that barking and, but I do encourage them and let them understand the importance of everything.
Yeah, particularly in basketball, in women's basketball, I could see, as we did, we had a hard time convincing the young ladies it was worth their time to lift because they really didn't want to. Yeah. And your approach is probably a good one. How long ago did you actually play at Claflin? I'm sure that may have some bearing with them being receptive to what you're trying to say to them.
Yeah, and luckily this year was the last year I had any of my teammates. I 4 years out of playing. So this was the last bunch of I had 2 players that I actually played with here, and it's always mutual respect. I'm blessed to say that I never had the encounters of some stories I've heard about, transitioning from a coach to transition from a player to a coach. So they're really respectful, and it wasn't a bad transition at all. So.
Claflin University has been the choice of thousands of students to help them prepare for a life of success and to realize their dreams.
Claflin has an amazing reputation of preparing the workforce here in the South Carolina region and globally. We know that your experience here at Claflin will be transformational.
The university has many articulation agreements with international institutions of higher education. Consider Claflin University as your choice because the world needs visionaries.
I just thought that sometimes it might be a little difficult coaching your former teammates.
Now, my first year it was, and it was because of the type of relationship. When I was a player, I said what I wanted to say, and I was very blunt with it. And then when you're on that role, and then I had a teammate where we would bump heads, but it was still mutual respect. Like the way I said it, I understood I could say that like that as a coach. So it was I had to be self-aware, more self-aware than anything.
Okay, so you've kind of learned as you've gone along in this process.
Oh, absolutely.
What are some of the things that you've learned that you didn't know when you started?
The type of different leaderships you have to have. I'm a firm believer that you can't lead everybody the same. They're not going to be receptive. One person might be receptive to a way that somebody else just rebels to, So that right there was probably the biggest challenge. Another was just being okay with making mistakes. I'm not always right, and I mess up, I fall short, and just balance. Just trying to transition from having the urge of getting off the bench and going in the game to sitting there, understanding I have to see the game and not actually play the game.
Wow, you just said 2 things. It takes people years to learn.
Yeah, that was very, very hard. And I think I learned it on the men's side. It was weird because on the women's side, I had the urge of just getting off the bench. Like it was times I just wanted to check in the game. And then on the men's side, it was like the game was quicker and I kind of got lost in the game. I thought I knew basketball. I've been playing since I was 4, but being on the men's side, it opened my eyes up in it. I think it will expand me as a coach if I ever get back to coaching basketball.
Okay, give me an example of something that opened your eyes watching or being there on the bench with the men's game.
Oh, the game is way faster. It's so much faster. There's so much going on. I feel like it was just so much going on at one time that doesn't happen in women's basketball. Like women's basketball is, to me now, when I sit and watch it, it's so much slower and I understand the game on a whole nother level. I knew basketball, but being on the men's side, I don't know what it was about it. It was faster. Like the movements, everything, the plays, even down to, I always say, I make jokes about it, but that's how I really feel. I feel like women's basketball is way more physical than men's. Like men's basketball is way more controlled, but it's quicker and more poised in a sense. Women's basketball is very physical and, it's poised, but it's physical. And I feel like it's slower, but it's more demanding in a way.
Okay, what sports do you work with that you think really gravitated towards the strength and conditioning component?
I would say softball. They were very, very, very receptive. Softball and volleyball. I can't exclude them. Softball and volleyball. And honestly, with softball, I've learned so much that I did not understand about their sport. So I appreciate them.
Wow, I would have thought softball and baseball, maybe even track before volleyball. That's why volleyball. That just surprises me with volleyball.
Because volleyball is when you think about volleyball, I thought about it was just always jumping. I didn't understand the demands of how much rotational work they need, how much up downs they need, how much getting off the floor, flexibility, mobility. Volleyball leaves a lot of mobility for the positions they be in, to being able to explode out of those positions. I was blown away. you know, because my mindset when I was first coming into it was just like volleyball really is just a jumping sport that, you know, but when you dive on the floor and you have to extend your arm out to save a ball, that takes a lot of core and rotational work to do.
Wow. Okay. 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 Now, tell me, what do you do during the day? Do students come and do individual workouts during the day at their leisure? Do you have an individual plan for them, and do you have an assistant that helps you during those times when you're not around?
Yes, so during the day, now that it's postseason for basketball and volleyball, they just finished up their postseason. It was workouts, so I would have a group of normally 3 to 4 with women's basketball, different times throughout the day, and then volleyball came to me. I came back to Claflin at night, and volleyball will go with me at night. Preseason is team workouts, of course, and then softball is in their preseason, their fall season. So it was them as well. As far as assistant, no, I do not. I try to balance and handle everything as efficient as I can.
Okay, so you're a one-person shop.
Yes.
Do the coaches, head coaches of their sports, lean on you a lot in terms of rehabbing an injured player? Does that fall under you, or does that fall under the trainer?
Oh yeah, most definitely the trainer, and then you know, I communicate with the trainer just as far as okay, they're clear from rehab, and then I slowly transition them into like I have a women's basketball player that's coming back from an ACL. She's slowly, and she hates it because she wants to get right back full active, but you know, we're slowly getting her back into the groove of things. So
Okay, so what else do you do during the day?
a lot of studying. This profession is just it's always growing. It's always new information out. I'm always reading something, trying to figure out how to be better. That's my biggest thing. If I'm not doing workouts, that's another thing I'm doing is just studying, trying to understand and be the best. Because I tell, I have a close relationship with the volleyball team. That's why I keep referring to them. But like I tell them, I want to see everybody win, and I know how important strength and conditioning is to winning. You know, just being able to say my body feels okay to go the extra mile. You know, of course, it's not just about the feeling, but when you really don't have no mobility and you're trying to lift weights, it's not beneficial. So just expanding my knowledge with everything.
Tell us a little bit about the facilities that you have to do what you're trying to do.
So Claflin, we got a little, you know, it's a dungeon gym. It's a 4 old school, you know, 4 power racks. We got the old school weights in there, so we get it how we live there. It's not a big facility, but it's intimate, you know, and I love it because we're all close knit. It's of course more stuff that we would love to have, but we do what we got to do to make it work, you know, and we making it work. So
some of the best gyms I've seen are the old school weight rooms, and
yeah,
you know, without the frills, no nonsense, hot in there and just get work in.
Yeah, absolutely. The hot boxes, you know,
So I'm sure you get a lot of support from your coaches and administration. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, most definitely. Claflin is just a loving environment. You know, I haven't left yet because it's a family environment. You know, we all try to fit in and do what we can do to help each other win. You know, so that's the environment you come into when you come to Claflin. What you need, you can get. We got an amazing boss ahead of us. The coaches are amazing. Like I just love the whole environment. Administration staff is amazing. You know, if you need something, they're going to try their hardest to get it done.
That has really been consistent with each individual that we've talked to, their spirit and their love for the university. And I've been in athletics all my professional life and through college, and everybody likes to say they have a family atmosphere. Mm-hmm. And I say once again that a lot of that is just talk. It's not like that at Claflin. I mean, it really is a family atmosphere, and you feel it almost from the moment that you walk on campus.
Right. Small, intimate, loving vibes.
Well, Ashley, you said something there. Again, you said one reason you haven't left.
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm still here.
Where are you from, Ashley?
I'm from Charleston.
Okay.
Yep. Born and raised.
How did you end up at Claflin?
Oh man, my story is a little different. It's not the average story. I moved around a couple schools and things like that, and I found Claflin. It's crazy when I say this, but Claflin was like my last option, and I ended up. One of my high school coaches contacted the coach here, and it was a go from there. I came in, played 1 year, sat a year, and then after that, it was just consistent growth for me.
Okay, what did you learn as you transitioned to Claflin? What did you learn that you may have experienced other places that it just felt different at Claflin? You know, because sometimes you have to go through bad times to appreciate good times. So give us a little bit more about this interesting story of yours.
Yeah, I went through some things. You know, I made some bad choices when I was younger, and it led me to Claflin. But one thing I learned, and I have to give thanks to Ms. Suggs, our former one of our former administration staffers. She taught me patience is a virtue. You know, I was so antsy and so all over the place when I first got into Claflin, and her and Miss Matisse Lee took me under their wing and just helped mold me, slow me down, and helped me grow. You know, they watered me.
And from what you learned, what do you do when you see somebody that reminds you of yourself and you see the teenage you? What do you do when you see them?
It's funny that you asked that. So I work with children as well. I'm the program coordinator at the Boys and Girls Club. So I get to instill my knowledge in kids every single day. And I absolutely love it. I love both of my professions. I love what I do. I wake up every day ready to do what I do. So I have kids from the age of 5 to 14 that I get to like really close knit help and water and grow. And it's just a blessing, you know, be able to share my experience and pass it on. You know, that's my biggest thing. When I get knowledge, I want to spread it and share it with others.
So when you see somebody that reminds you of yourself, that sees things through their own prism, not always the right way, but their own way, and you say, "Wow, he or she reminds me of myself." Do you spend a little time trying to talk to them, or do you let them go through trial and error period?
Oh, of course. You know, and especially if they do something that just reminds me of the old me, I'm like, oh yeah, like I gotta share with you, man. You gotta hear this, you know. And it's not even just a one time thing, like because I live in I don't want nobody to make the same mistakes I made. So if I see you about to make the same mistake, or I see you just having some of the similar traits that I had, I'll try to talk to you because I've been there, done it. I had to go through it, and of course, at the end of the day, you might have to go through it, but I hope you have that moment where you can reflect and say, "Oh, Miss Ashley or Coach Ashley helped me," or you know what she said pop back up in your head.
Well, a lot of times I always tell people that you go through things and it's not for you, it's for you to be able to help somebody else.
Absolutely.
No. And you seem to have that giving spirit within you that
Absolutely.
you try to pay it forward as Matisse Lee and some of them did with you to take that time to help you get to where you are.
Oh, absolutely. You know,
Tell us something that, as we get ready to close, tell us what you tell a group when they come in to see you for that first time and they look up and see us a young lady in there getting ready to try to tell them about strength and conditioning. What do you share with them?
I mean, this is my motto. When I first get to the team, I just let them know, like, I'm here to get you better. You know, it's up to you. At the end of the day, you still got to put in the work. I'm here to get you better. I'm going to do everything I can to help you get better. I understand we're going to bump heads. We're going to have disagreements and things like that. But as long as you respect me, we have smooth sailing because I don't expect everybody to come in and just follow a dictatorship because everybody has their own personality. Everybody is facing doing things the best way they can. You know, we all have difficult days. So as long as you respect and you don't want to disrespect me because, you know.
Because there's another side of you they don't want to see.
Side of me, you know? Yeah. Yeah. So and I try my hardest not to show that. And I try my hardest just to be that positive light, you know. I take pride in that. I just want to walk around and share knowledge, laugh, and enjoy the environment, enjoy the time. Let's grow, let's expand. I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm doing. So, if you feel like you know better, then you follow your own way.
And there you go, young ladies, from Ashley Fields, head conditioning and strength coach at Claflin University Athletic Department. You need to listen because you don't want to see that other side in her come out. That's not what you want. You don't want that smoke. But she will also talk to you. She will be able to explain so that you understand. And at Claflin University, it's all about love. Ashley, we appreciate you being a part of the show. And we wish you continued success with the Boys and Girls Club and at Claflin University.
Appreciate you.
Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Like us on Facebook.
I liked it on Facebook.
Follow us on Twitter. INSiiGHTS.
Yeah.
2 I's in the middle. INSiiGHTS.
All right, y'all.